question for you, as opposed to every other question I ask, which is obviously non-serious, since I'm saying it's a
Okay.
serious question.
I have a serious
But
answer.
in all honesty, can you go back and look, and do you have any way of knowing how long we've known each other?
I mean, I could probably find the first email you sent me or your purchase that you sent me.
But how long ago do you think that was?
I
Ish.
would say 2015,
I
maybe
think
13.
I think it's more like 13.
Could be,
So we've known each other for at least a decade.
at least.
Okay. Do you know anybody besides me over the last, you know, 60 years you've been on the planet ish?
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
got
okay.
some acquaintances and friends that I've kept up with, and some I haven't.
Now I'm going to put a word on the board, Stu, and I'm going to see if you remember, and those of our viewers. What's up, Paul? What's up, Vicky? Do you remember?
Hmm.
Do you remember this word?
The Rolodex.
What
Yeah,
was the Rolodex?
my Rolodex was a actually thing that you rolled that had business cards in it from every single person I ever met at any conference or luncheon or you name it.
Okay. And for me, I had, well, good morning, Brad. What's good morning, Dave and Mary and Vicky and Paul. I remember, especially when I was in the mortgage business and then in the real estate business, my most valuable business asset was my Rolodex. The people that I knew, the people that I had met, the people that I was able to call on the phone and attempt to do some sort of business with them.
Yeah, that's old school, Jim.
Right.
Good
But
stuff.
how important do you think this is now, relatively speaking?
I just think it has come in different forms, but I I don't like getting rid of them. You know what I mean? Like I like having them, like
Sure.
all those old cards and everything, and so I
What
still have all my old cards.
do you really? I
Yeah,
don't. Oh, dude,
yeah.
good for you. You super old school. My point though is that in fact it'd be fun to do something real quick, and this is totally unplanned, but we're gonna do something. And those of you who are like, "Wow, the show's moving a little slow this morning," that's okay. I'm moving a little slow this morning. Um, we are going to come over here to the. Come on. All right. I'm trying to pull something up. Okay, here we go. We're going to the acronym genie, Stu, and I think you know what I'm going to do. All right. We're going to make an acronym for Rolodex.
Oh, okay.
And we'll do BuzzFeed, Angle, Inspiring, Beginner. We'll load an avatar
Ooh,
for
that's gonna be a
that.
hard one.
Um, Sell a lot of books fast.
All right, there you go. I would go with list, but Rolodex, I get it. It's cool.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Create an acronym for the purpose of explaining Rolodex as a way of keeping track of relationships and how it can help you profit.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're just playing around. Um, but I've started to realize, and I think a lot of people have realized that in this age of everybody and their brother thinking that you're going to get rich. Ooh, look at this. Relationships,
Oh,
organization, leverage, opportunities, data, engagement, exponential growth. Builds connections, keeps contacts, leverage relationships, identify and track who buys. Anyway, that's kind of cool.
I like that one. That's actually,
Um, Outreach, I like that better.
yeah,
Distribution, engagement, exponential growth. I'm going to save this
I like that. I was wondering where
because
they were going to go with the X.
X rated.
Xylophone, X
X
rated.
rated.
That's not,
That's right. X factor. But there's a point here. And one of the things that I think a lot of people miss out on, and we're in the phase right now with the Write Your Book Challenge, and it's finishing up, and we're going to transition into launch your book. And I believe that the single most important thing that you can do, especially when you've written your first book, is to leverage your sphere of influence.
yep.
Because the people that you know, the people that know you, the people that care about you, the fact that you have written a book is a big deal to the people who give a shit if you're still breathing. For real. And so most people are like, oh, I got to go run some ads, or I got to go, how do I do this? Or, I don't have a big social media following, or I don't have a big list. You know what? You go out to every single person that you know and have them help you promote your book because they care about you, either by buying your book and giving you a review, or publishing it in their newsletter, or just publishing it on their social media, even if they don't really have a social media following. If every single person you knew gave a little shout out, hey, my buddy Stu just published his first book on Amazon, and it's amazing, and I'm super proud of him. And if you're into fitness or self punishment, or if you're weak and suck, then go check out his book. I'm just super happy for my buddy. That kind of exposure is priceless, and that's where grassroots kind of stuff happens from. So to me, this is something where we've gotten away from leveraging our sphere of influence, or leveraging other people's spheres of influence, which are just as important. I remember when I was in the insurance business, albeit not very successfully, I did learn, though, the power of leveraging somebody else's sphere of influence. In fact, that was the only way I actually sold any insurance, was people that I knew or people that I had met who referred me to people who had just had a baby or had just gotten married, which were the main people that I was able to go after.
Smart.
And then when I was in the mortgage business, I leveraged my sphere of influence to reach out to people who were able to refer me to real estate agents that I could then go in and talk to. And I remember one of the agents who sent me the most business was a guy that I met through guys that I used to work with in the insurance business.
Nice.
And they referred me to a guy that they had met, and this guy sent me a lot of business and got me really plugged in with an office that really helped me to get over that six-figure mark when I was 23 years old. And so leveraging your sphere, and then full circle moment, those guys now manage my money. When I was Poe and they knew Poe Jim, and now they're managing my money, and I'm one of their biggest clients,
Nice.
which we all laugh about because the one guy kind of gave me crap. And so when I broke the 100,000 mark on my book, I sent him a copy. And, anyway, my point though is that everybody here is underutilizing and undervaluing their sphere of influence. Now, what could your sphere of influence do for you? Well, everybody in your sphere of influence, at a minimum, has a Facebook account. They may not have a page or anything like that. professional contacts that you have a LinkedIn account. They do. Everybody's got a LinkedIn account. How well they're leveraging it or using it, I have no idea. I have no idea how well I'm using or leveraging LinkedIn. Nancy takes care of that. But I bet I'm doing a great job. I bet I'm pretty active over on LinkedIn. um, I'm just kidding. But like same thing with X. Okay. Same thing with Instagram. Okay. So how many people do you know have a podcast? I don't, you don't know
Right.
unless you ask. How
Yeah.
many of them have some sort of a newsletter?
Yep.
How many of them just have an email list of just people they know? And I'm going to use an example of that may not be appealing to some people, and I might hurt some people's feelings. And well, I don't care. Think about if you've ever done an MLM, you ever sold the diet cookies or you sold the leggings or you sold the insurance or I mean it's MLM it's the gateway drug to entrepreneurship for most people. And they either join an MLM and they get bitten by the bug and they realize the MLM's bullshit, but they realize that, hey, I got sold on this idea of working for myself and let me figure out something I can do that's legit instead of a Ponzi scheme. Others like get bitten by it and swear to God they'll never touch entrepreneurship again. It doesn't matter. One of the first things that they do when you're upline, okay, comes in, they're all wise and they're successful and everything, is they tell you to make a list of everybody you knew in high school and everybody you've ever done business with and everybody that you've ever spent money with, that you make the prospect list.
Yeah.
Okay. What if you made the prospect list not for selling the diet cookies or the other stuff? And I say this tongue in cheek because I went bankrupt in large
That's
part
really
to
good.
being an MLM. But make your own MLM style hit list of everybody you know and just reach out to them and let them know that you wrote a book and that you published a book. And hey, do you know anybody? Would you feel comfortable sharing on a certain day that we had launched, that your buddy wrote a book? Okay. Do you know anybody who has a podcast or a newsletter, or do you know anybody that this book could help and you could maybe push it along to them? And what we're looking for are what we used to call mavens. Do you know what a maven is, Stu?
I do not.
Okay, a maven is somebody that becomes an active advocate for you. So it's like the Jewish grandma who's always trying to hook you up with, you know, somebody's daughter or you don't look like you have enough weight, you need to, or hey, I know somebody that does this, you need to go talk to them. Oh, you need this, you need to go talk to this person. Oh, you're having this problem, you need to go talk to here, let me call them for you. It's a socially active person who likes you and wants to help you and help other people, that will start being like, oh yeah, I know so and so's kid has a podcast, let me put you in touch with them. Or yeah, I can put that on my social media, and you know what, I know 3 or 4 people, I'm just going to email them directly. And we're looking for the mavens in our list, but we're also just looking to create that exposure, that platform, that solid, I've launched my book type thing. And I gotta launch my book, I guess I gotta run a bunch of ads. And Amazon will make you feel that way. I mean, as soon as your book gets published on Amazon, they send you a big long ass email telling you about all these different opportunities that they have for you to spend money with them to get some exposure for your book, which is not a bad thing to do. Advertising your book on Amazon is actually the single best place, in my opinion, for running ads for your book. You can actually do it relatively cost effectively. But everybody I've ever met neglects the shit out of this sphere of influence. Okay. But when I launched my online business, when I was trying to, really make it happen, I had no money for advertising. And so all I could do was leverage people that I knew. And basically, what I did was leverage the crap out of my first co author, his list of people that he knew, Joe Vitale. And I just started working it. I was doing my MLM approach, only I was pushing my book. And so I think that we all have probably neglected our sphere of influence for a lot of different things. And what tell everybody kind of what precipitated this conversation that we're having here today, Stu, because you told me something cool you're doing, which makes
Yeah.
total sense.
Well, yeah, I was just scrolling on the internet like I do on my Instagram, and I see my buddy Alden Mills, who I haven't really talked to in a little while of any really in-depth conversations. We, check in and say hi, and one of our friends just got promoted, so we were all congratulating him. But anyway, he posted a story on his website about his story, how he invented the perfect push up. And I remember his journey of how he invented the perfect push up. He had failed a couple of times with two other inventions. And this was his last, I think he put his last $5,000 on a credit card that was his last credit card of any cash that he had, and he laid it all down. And
And did a
yeah,
1 minute info and did a 1 minute infomercial for the perfect push up. And that
and
was his Hail Mary in the fourth quarter, last
yeah,
play.
yeah, it was, yeah, it was quite impressive. So I asked him, I said, this is a great story, because he sent it out as an Instagram post. I said, great story in the comments, and I said, you should get on my Never Quit Mindset podcast with me, right? And so just a quick little invite, and I know he'll say yes because he's a buddy of mine. We're in each other's weddings, and so we go way back. And so we're going to do that, this week. Going to set up a Never Quit Mindset podcast with him as the guest and talk about his never quit story. And where's his Unstoppable? I always have his Unstoppable book around here somewhere. I got to pull it out. I don't have it on me. But anyway, we're,
And
it'd
and
be good for
Stu,
both
as
of us.
I was sorry, I was going to try and give you some cover there.
Oh
There's
yeah,
Stu's book.
we'll be able to, plug each other's efforts, what we have kind of separated from in the last 10 years doing our own thing, but we'll bring them all together again and join each other's sphere of influence and share it. And yeah, I think it's a good relationship to rekindle. It just makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And interesting from that sphere of influence, like I text with Alden all the time. And I met Alden through you.
Yep.
And I said, hey, Stu, do you know that dude that invented the perfect push up? And you're like, yeah, he was my best man or something. He said, like, I was best man at his wedding or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, can you introduce me? And you introduced me, and he ended up coming on the gym boat and speaking on the gym boat and stuff. And we became buddies, and we actually created back before. I mean, this is way back. We created a piece of software to do 1 minute infomercials based
Oh,
on
cool.
his 1 minute infomercial thing. This was pre AI. I mean, this is 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. The Wizard,
And
the 1 minute
yeah, when we were
infomercial
doing
wizard.
Wizard, yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. The 1 minute infomercial wizard. And it was a cool piece of software. We made a nice chunk of change together. But you just never know who in your sphere of influence knows somebody that they're taking for granted, and you're taking your sphere of influence for granted. And as the world gets taken over by five major companies that are controlling access to all the people, might be good to work that whole relationship angle with people, because it's a lot cheaper to reach out to somebody and see if they'd be interested in doing something that is to run an ad. And it's, even if I'm just now, even looking at it from the standpoint of expense of bringing in new customers, if you reached out to somebody and found somebody that wanted to do a joint venture or be an affiliate or something like that, a lot easier to pay a 40% commission to somebody after someone has paid you for a purchase than it is to gamble that money up front with advertising to hope somebody you don't know buys and that they don't refund.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on here that I think people are missing out on by just discounting who they know or who they could connect with.
Yeah. Hey, I have another one I forgot to tell you.
What's that?
And I just got in contact with him again.
Uh-huh.
When I was 35, this guy was 70. Okay.
Wow.
And he asked me, like, hey, I'm looking for every 10 years I do something hard and I prepare for it. So I got like 2 years to prepare for my 70th birthday event. I think I want to climb Kilimanjaro.
What?
Right? I mean, he just does crazy stuff like triathlons and all this stuff. So now, fast forward, he is 90. Okay. I haven't talked to him in like 20 years. He is 90 and he
Uh-huh.
wants to try to get in good enough shape to pass the Naval Academy fitness standards.
Oh crap, dude.
And I'm like, let's do it. He's a local guy, and I remember saying, when I was 35, I'm like, oh man, you give me hope for my 70s. Right. And now I'm like, man, I don't know too many people that give me hope for their 90s, but
How
he
the
is
hell's a
now, he is,
90-year-old guy going to pass the run test?
I don't know. I may give him an option to do rowing or biking because in the Navy, you can row or bike if you can't run. So,
Oh, excuse me. Hey,
yeah.
that sounds like a good test for my 60th, Stu. I bet I can already do the pull-ups and the push-ups and the sit-ups. If you
Oh,
could give
yeah.
me a modified run, maybe I could do that before my next birthday.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a 7-minute mile for men.
What?
The minimum standard. Yes. A 10:30 mile and a half is the minimum standard at the Naval Academy. So
That's out of my. That ain't happening.
that's the minimum standard, right? To
Could you
max
do
it, you got
that?
to get
Could you run a
me
7-minute
now.
mile right now?
I don't know. Probably. I mean,
Really? Good for you, dude.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I ran one the other day. It was like 10:45. Um,
Dang, that's
and that
awesome.
and that was after a swim and pull up, push up, sit ups, and all that too. So
That's amazing, dude. I mean, for me,
I
nine
was a
is
little,
the, nine is the new seven.
yeah. But anyway, it was just one of those things that kind of popped across my radar again, and by an email, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. It might make 20 years ago, I wasn't into posting stuff and sharing it with the world, but this is a great thing to share with the world. At least it's going to be some cool content, and talk about longevity and never quit mindset and all that stuff. So
Dude, I mean, is he going to let you document it?
we're in discussions on all that. I'm not sure
Okay.
who is in his world, but he's coming over to the community center and we're going to discuss it. So
Okay. I mean, now I'm all like, oh, crap, dude. I mean, look, okay, we're taking a timeout. We're doing an aside because this is where Stu and I are able to, dude, I mean, the fastest I've ever been in my whole life is like a 6:30 mile. Okay. And that was a long, many years ago. That was when I was 2021. The fastest I've done since then is like a 7:10. And that was like once. I mean,
yeah,
the fastest I was really getting consistently 7, 8, 9 years ago was like 7:30. Consistently. Um, I mean, do you really think that I could get down below a sub 8-minute mile still and
yeah,
not hurt myself?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Eight
Oh,
minute mile. Yes. 7-minute mile, that's like, it's a yes, but it's a longer
I'd
yes.
have to lose a bunch more weight and a
It's a
bunch of
longer
other
yes.
crap.
It's a
Yeah,
little more specific on the training, but a sub 8 is not something that is
unattainable.
going to challenge you, over challenge you, should I say.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it because what I would love to be able to do is actually make Johnny breathe hard on the run because he's a little bit too smug now. You know, the
Yeah.
19-year-old,
Oh, I
that
know.
19-year-old, hey old man.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, dude, I'll smoke you on the push-ups and the pull-ups still. Yeah, but everybody talks about the run time. The run time is what does the PT stud stuff, you know?
Yeah, that is true.
So, little turd.
It's a run a
Anyway,
man's game out there, Jim. That's what they
I
keep telling me.
I know. So we'll talk about it. Don't modify my workouts just yet.
All right.
Maybe that's a spring thing.
All right.
That's cool though. That's really inspiration. That's kind of stuff that really gets cool things going. Like your father Hogan
Oh, yeah.
story.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
That's a cool
It
story.
is.
This dude, I mean, that's he's throwing down the gauntlet, man.
I know.
Yeah, I'm like, I see 60 on the horizon, and I'm thinking, man, am I still going to be able to keep doing this? And then some 90-year-old dude's trying to pass. I'm like, crap, dude, this is never over,
Yeah. The
and it
beauty
should
of the
never be.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a nice little journey. But
Well, it beats the alternative.
all he has to do is push ups, plank, and run. But if he
Okay,
can't run, we'll do what the Navy does, and they'll replace the run with a bike or a row or a swim.
okay,
So yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So bringing it back around to the sphere of influence stuff, though. You know, if we're talking about who's in your sphere of influence, where should you look to build your little MLM list? I got to come up with a different. We'll call it the MLM list, but instead of the Ponzi scheme list, and I know any of you that are in the MLM right now and getting pissed, just get pissed. I don't care. MLM is short for Ponzi, but we'll figure out a different.
How about
We'll,
SOI? SOI,
yeah,
sphere of influence.
there you go. Your SOI list. But if you think about, okay, so who goes on the list, Stu? Friends, okay,
Friends.
family,
And define friends, because you got friends that are actually friends,
she got like 4 of them.
and you got acquaintances, and yeah, and you have friends that are on Facebook, and you got social media friends.
Holy shit, you're making this complicated. All right, just we'll
You
go.
got to diversify, because yeah, you're right. I got like 3 friends.
Okay, friends close.
Yes.
All right. Now I would come and get your ass off the side of the highway in the middle of the night, Stu. I would do
I
that.
appreciate that.
But friends close, family you like. Look at 4 of them.
Yeah.
But okay, so you got friends, you got family, you've got acquaintances.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Oh my God, how do you even spell that? What's an alternative word for? Here you go. What's an alternative word for acquaintance that doesn't have so many letters in it? One of the most is to use acquaintance instead of acquaintance. What the hell?
Well,
This
now
literally says one of the most common mistakes people know.
at least you can
What is a
spell it.
word you can say instead of acquaintance that means the same thing? Friend, comrade, companion, associates.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah, I can do that because it starts with associate. Okay, associates, past work, work people, past coworkers. There you go. Past coworkers. Okay, who else? Friends, family, associates, past coworkers, church.
Yeah.
Civic organizations. Come on,
Are
help me
we
out in
going
the
at social
comments,
media?
people.
Social media?
Well, yeah, but these are actually people that you might know, like as a person. like
Oh, okay.
real world.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Um, okay. These are real world people. So then,
School.
oh yeah, school. There you go.
Teams / teams. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got online. Well, but and we're not really on online stuff because okay.
I mean, they're
So
kind of crisscrossing paths anyway
to a
nowadays. You know,
degree,
lot of all those are online as well. It's the easiest way for me to find them.
right. But I mean, what would you call stuff like I know people from John Maxwell or or organization. I mean, does that kind of goes under organizations?
Yeah, I would
I'll
agree.
just change civic to organizations.
Yeah.
Organizations and memberships.
Yeah. Vicky says neighbors,
You know your neighbors?
former clients. You got to live in a neighborhood to have neighbors.
True. That's why I don't live in a neighborhood. School teams. What'd she say? Past clients?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. What else?
Whew.
School teams past. What you think, Nancy? Huh? She Nancy actually likes people. Um, friends, family, associates, past coworkers, church, organizations, memberships, school teams, past clients. That's pretty good.
I agree. I think anymore you're going to start getting overwhelming.
Okay.
I
So
don't know where
then,
to start.
but we got online,
Mm,
we got social media, and that's kind of an et al thing.
that's
Okay. That's,
broad. You don't have to go individually. Yeah.
correct. Subscribers.
Mm.
Okay. Um, people you pay money to. Okay. People you pay money to or pay attention to. I mean, you and I are friends. Stu's like, well, maybe a little, but you've stayed at my house. Not a lot of people stayed at my house. Um,
yeah.
and I mean, we met online, and
True.
our relationship started by me paying you money.
Mm, that's true.
So, use a hoe. um, but social media, subscribers, people you pay money to, pay attention to, and then people you develop you choose to develop a relationship with. But let's look at this for a second. I mean, let's look at the math. Let me zoom out. This is just fun discussion. Are you all enjoying this? Nancy says, "Wow, sorry for my dad, Stu." So the kid's apologizing for my behavior. It's what she's been doing her whole life. Um, but if you figure, honestly, if you sat down and really thought this through, you probably know a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
We all know a couple hundred people, and they know a couple hundred people. So 200 times 200, if I'm not mistaken, is 40,000.
Mm.
What's 200? What's 200 by times 200?
1, 2, 3.
40.
Yeah. 40.
Yeah, 200.
Yeah.
It's 40,000.
Yeah.
Now, what if only 10% of those people helped you out with a little promo, a little
Yeah.
share, a link, something like that over the course of 6 months.
Yeah, that's big.
That's 4,000 touches of some kind. And let's say only 10% of that resulted in you making some sort of a sale. That's 400 sales in 6 months. By the way, that's about 395 more sales than most people make of anything online.
Damn.
So if you just, and I ain't talking about running ads, I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about just working it, working your sphere of influence, adding value to them. So I think that people are ignoring their sphere of influence to their peril. You think about, let's bring it full circle back to Alden and the perfect push-up. Now, you know, or may or may not know that Alden's been out there talking to, you know, he does the big money keynotes.
Yeah.
And he coaches people for big money and all this other stuff. Well, if you just looked at Alden and said, hey, buddy, who else do you know that I should have on the Never Quit podcast? Do you think it's us too? Man, I don't go to hell, man.
Yeah.
No. What's he going to say? Hey, let me think about it. Or, oh, I know the perfect dude that you need to have on it. He's you need, you know, my buddy Jim Edwards, you ought to have him on the Never Quit Mindset podcast. I'm throwing my pitch out there. I'd love to be on your podcast.
Let's do it.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, that's easy.
It's just like, that's not a challenge. That dude will talk to anybody. But if you now start just doing basic human communication things like, hey, Stu, do you know the dude that invented the TRX?
Yeah, I do.
You know that dude.
Yeah.
Why don't you have him on your Never Quit Mindset podcast too?
That's a good one.
Especially because he probably has a little bit of a attitude about perfect fitness versus TRX. And if Alden was on your thing, then he'd probably want to be on there.
It's true.
And then your boy Dan Devine with Seal, whatever his
Mark.
thing out there. Mark Devine, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
He might be a good one. And then Eddie Gallagher, who had to have a hell of a mindset of never quit. And now you start leveraging those dudes with value and asking them who else they know. And now you never know what kind of opportunities are going to come up.
Very good point, Jim.
You know, without running a single ad.
Yeah.
So I just, this is the hidden goal. Do you remember who Earl Nightingale was?
Yes.
You know the name Earl Nightingale?
Yeah.
So in his gold record, the name of The Strangest Secret, he tells a story of the guy who started Temple University. Conwell was his last name, and he raised all the money for Temple University by going around and giving the same speech like 2,000 times. It was called Acres of Diamonds. And it was a speech about, it was an allegory about a guy who in South Africa, I think, or wherever, he decided he wanted to go out on the African continent in search of diamonds. And so he had a really nice little farm, and he sold his farm to raise money. And he went off to search across the African continent for diamonds. He didn't find any diamonds. And in a fit of despair, he threw himself into the river that goes over Victoria Falls. And let's just say he didn't make it. The guy who bought his farm one day was out walking across the creek in the farm, and he saw flash, something caught his eye, found this cool looking rock, and hey, it's kind of cool. Thought it was crystal or something, and he put it on his mantelpiece. And sometime later, a friend came over, and his saw the thing. He says, "Hey, where'd you get that?" He said, "Well, I got it out of the creek." And he said, "Is there more?" And he said, "Yeah, there's a bunch more. Maybe not as big as that one, but it's filled with them." It was one of the largest diamonds ever found.
Damn.
And the guy who sold the farm didn't realize that he was standing in his own acres of diamonds.
Wow.
And we all run off looking elsewhere for riches and exposure and the perfect people to help us achieve our dreams, whether it's with our book or our product or whatever we're doing, when we're already standing in our own acres of diamonds with our skill set, with our knowledge, with our SOI, sphere of influence. And we always are looking outward, but what you're looking for, you've already got the seeds to make it happen. And I honest to God, man, as opportunities to advertise get smaller, your options are getting smaller and getting more expensive. Your sphere of influence, just like when we were kids, kids relative in our 20s,
Hmm.
and your most valuable thing you had was your Rolodex of contacts. I think it's still the case today. The people you know and the people that you have relationships with or that you could rekindle relationships with, that's where the real value is.
Nice, Jim. Way to bring it back around.
I do what I can.
That's
So
good
tell
stuff.
everybody about your Never Quit Mindset podcast. What's up with that?
All right. So this is kind of fun. I make a Never Quit Mindset Monday.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's actually a live session. So I go on all my social media and I do this podcast. So basically it's me talking for about 15 minutes as people congregate, and then I take questions afterwards. Or, people text in their stories or whatever. Here's my story of never quitting. And it's been really good. And I've made kind of a joke about it because I haven't had any live guests on, but I've told stories about other people's never quit mindset, almost in a way like Paul Harvey would tell it,
Okay.
in the rest of the story. So this week I had Colonel Sanders on. A week
Okay.
before that, I had Thomas Edison, the Wright brothers, um, Epictetus, who was a slave and Stoic scholar. Yeah, so I've only had like 4 or 5 of them, but
Okay.
that's what I've done. I told their stories of never quitting. Like Thomas Edison says, he found 550 ways a light bulb will not work. Right? He never failed. He discovered 500 ways that it didn't work. Right? So he was able to frame failure as a learning experience, and that's one of the key factors in the never quit mindset. Um, and so anyway, that's kind of stories I tell on the never quit mindset.
So you, instead of every chucklehead I've ever seen, I'm going to do Motivation Monday. You do Mindset Monday. What's the difference between mindset and motivation?
Ooh, good question. Um, I would say this: a mindset is probably the product of action, whereas motivation is just hope. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with hope, but there's
Yeah.
no action to motivation,
Right.
right? I've always said like action brings motivation. Motivation doesn't bring action,
Right. Right.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Mindset, to me, mindset's internal and it's controllable.
yeah,
And motivation is external and is outside of your control and therefore fleeting.
yes, absolutely. It's
And
pretty
that,
much same way of saying the difference between motivation and discipline,
which
it,
is,
which is what you just said. It's more internal. It is discipline is a product of habits and consistency and doing things when you don't feel like it. Motivation requires you to feel like it to go do it. Right? Yeah. So anyway,
I'm
that's
always motivated on Mobility Day.
oh man, I don't know what it is, but I lay down in my bed thinking about what's tomorrow. Mobility Day.
There you go.
That's a good day.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, I would love to know when you're going to have Alden on for that, and if you have an open slot, I would love to be on. Could I be on your podcast, Stu?
Every week, I do it every Monday.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we got. For those of you who are not members of copyandcontent.ai, you did see us use the little acronym genie there and come up with something cool. If you have a minute, I mean, we'll finish this up, and then if you got a minute, Stu, let's run SOI and MLM through it and see if it comes up with a cool little better acronym. But if you want to get in shape, head on over to
StuSmithFitness.com.
There you go, .com. And if you want to have amazing tools to help you save tons of time, amplify your message, accelerate your success, and create amazing sales copy and marketing content, go to copyandcontent.ai. So that's the end of the show. And Stu, real quick, let's go see if we can come up with a cooler acronym for MLM. And we will see all of you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Let's do it.